Fitness and strength training is for everybody. Fitness industry is kind of forgot about, like normal folks who have like full-time jobs and careers. And
Mobility, stability, movement, and strength.
because if you don't use it, you will lose it. And it's harder to get back once you lose it.
We train in patterns.
Training age really will dictate exercise selection. Think of it as a process of elimination, of taking things off the table for that person.
Most people don't need to be bodybuilders.
Beginners and grandmasters train the same. And maybe the biggest gross negligence of the fitness industry is how much cardio has been misunderstood.
Just training 2 to 3 days a week is
It's
all
amazing.
you need.
All
You
you
don't need to train 5-6 days a week.
It's the long game. That is an example of the long game.
So they're burning more calories at rest when they have more muscle on their frame.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the long game. I'm your host, Colby Knepp, joined with a really good friend, colleague, Coach Rob Kirby. Rob, what's up, brother?
What's up, man? How you doing?
Welcome in.
Mic check.
So Rob, known Rob since the very early days of OTA. He was referred to me through Sarah Camp. And yeah, she didn't end up joining the gym, but she did send me the biggest blessing ever in introducing me to you. So what I want to do today, man, I want to take some time just to, I know your history, but I want to share it with the world. You're just such an integral part of the community at OTA, leadership and guiding the gym and guiding the culture. I want to learn about you, man. I want to share that with the world. And then I want to dive into the topic of the day, which is how we design strength training programs for our client avatar, adults 35 and up. So let's start here, man. Let's start here. I'm gonna dive into this the way that I would like a traditional consult with a client. So I want you to think back to your earliest recollection about fitness or sports or exercise. And then I want you to tell me that story, but through the lens of the career path. How did you get to where you are today?
Oh, man. Well, thank you for those kind words, first of all, man. I'm also blessed to have you as well as my boss and friend. And I'm blessed for OTA. But I would say for when it first started off, I've always had a passion for fitness. I think I started getting into soccer. I was very uncoordinated with my hands, so my dad threw me into soccer, see if that would stick, and I did pretty good with that. And as I got into high school with soccer, started probably around the age of 10, I fell more in love with the weight training in the off-season workouts more than actually being on the field and playing the sport as it is. So as soon as I got into my senior year of high school, I joined a weightlifting class, and one of the football coaches named Coach Bartlett kind of showed me the ways of weight training, more so like in the Dungy gym, the way the football players did it. It wasn't like what we do today necessarily, but I really fell in love with that, man. And I remember watching, like, going home and doing P90X, Ab Ripper X almost every night. I'd put Rocky IV on in the background with the training scene in Russia.
That doesn't surprise me.
And then I would just hit abs like almost every night. And then my mom got me a bench press my senior year of high school too, and I started working out
At your house?
Yeah, in my garage. So I was doing bench and abs like every night. And I think that's what sparked it, man. I really fell in love with the training. I always wanted to like look like Rocky Balboa and Rocky IV. I always enjoyed the aesthetics and like Arnold Schwarzenegger as well. And I think that's kind of what sparked it. And then I was like, I want to do something with this for a living. And I kind of looked into physical therapy.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Mainly because of the financial reasons is what I think I wanted to pursue that. But later I kind of realized that that was not for me necessarily. And I also did not want to be in school for that long to become a physical therapist. I really just enjoyed being in the weight room. So that's when I think I wanted to be a strength coach.
And you went to, after high school, you went to Western Kentucky.
Yes.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
The Hilltoppers.
Yep.
Back when I still play college football, I only know that because of NCAA 2008 or 09. They used to be.
Wow.
They're not anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think they're a Division I program anymore.
Okay. Yeah.
But they were permanently the worst team in the game. And I played with them a lot. That's how I knew that. So when I saw you came with the logo one day, I was like, oh, cool. But so you studied dietetics?
So I started in exercise science.
Okay.
And then I ended up switching over to nutrition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So I guess the genesis of it, sounds like you got exposed to weight training in your younger years. Were you a senior in high school when you started lifting? Like
Junior, senior, right around then. I think junior is whenever I started to kind of dabble with it, but I got that bench press and I actually started like the weightlifting class in high school. I actually had it twice a day. I had like all my classes checked off, and I had an intro to weights in the morning, and then I had another weightlifting class in the evening.
That's
too.
awesome.
So it was just spending a lot of my senior year in the gym. I loved it.
When did bodybuilding come into
I would
the
say
realm?
kind of around that area is whenever I was getting into bodybuilding. And you know what? Whenever I started getting into fitness, it was like I think bodybuilding and like fitness influencers was like really starting to take off in that direction. So I think that kind of helped. I think that's kind of helped gain aspirations towards bodybuilding.
Just seeing it in the media and like.
Yes, and I just really love the aesthetics portion, like being able to sculpt your physique and the mentality like of having to do the nutrition side of things. It like just really provoked me a lot.
You do a really good job of as a coach keeping your beliefs is the right word, but like your principles for how you train Rob separate from how you train our population, because they're different.
Most people don't need to be bodybuilders. Yeah,
majority of people, don't. Yeah, we've talked about this, and that's hard to do, man. A lot of coaches really are, I think, traditionally get stuck on what they do is what everybody else should do. And one of the things that really attracted me to you in the early days when we met was you had a pretty clear delineation between my hobby as bodybuilding, something that you are pursuing, but not influencing your craft of coaching.
And that's something that took me at least a couple of years to figure out. I think I started trying to get everyone to be bodybuilders for sure. It was like training muscle groups instead of movement patterns.
Yeah.
So that it took me a couple of years to get to that point. And I think one of the things that helped show me the ropes of that was my coach that I had at Vasa named Jamaica, and she showed me the ropes of the CFSC.
Oh yeah.
Michael Boyle's training and all that. And I think all of that helped really open a whole nother lens of training for me. And this is what most people need.
Was that your first kind of advanced certification after college?
Yes. That's honestly what I think that was huge for me, man. That was, I think that really just opened a whole nother lens on like how I can really see the fitness into my future and like being able to help train and progress individuals within Colorado as well.
Yeah.
It's a lot different here than Kentucky.
And so when did you move to Colorado?
2018 and about August. It was like right after I finished school. Yeah, I came on out here.
Did you get right into training people? Was that your first like?
Started applying at jobs, and the Vasa in Thornton literally just opened up. And so that they hired me on pretty quick. And I actually loved that gym when I first came out here because there's nothing like that in Kentucky too, where you got like the movie room, the pool, the sauna, the steam room, and it's a huge big box gym. I think it was a great place. I think a big box gym is a great place for trainers to start off training people because you get so many different people and so many reps, like you say. Yeah. So if I had to do it all over again, I would probably do that again. I would probably start out at Vasa rather than what I'm doing now.
And so you're a Vasa, were you just doing personal training?
I was just personal training.
Okay.
Yep. Pretty much just part-time too.
When did group fitness come into it?
Well, so funny story. Yeah. We actually kind of did small group fitness at Vasa. It was like we did either personal training, kind of like how we do now, or it was small groups of 6, and they did it in this thing called the cage, and it was a little
cage.
Yeah, it was a little fenced off area in the middle of the gym.
It's like a wrestling.
They put it right in front of the cardio equipment, so everyone doing cardio has to look at the people doing personal training, and it's like literally in the dead center of the gym. So it's like pretty much a focal point. They're trying to sell this product.
Interesting.
But yeah, they actually did small group training there. So that's all I know.
That's awesome, dude.
Pretty
That's
much,
awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. I cut my teeth, large groups, CrossFit, 20, 30, 40 people.
Yeah, that's
2 or 3
crazy.
coaches on the floor.
That's wild.
And it was so much more about class management, equipment setup, flow than it was technique. That was part of it, but it wasn't
organization.
20% of it. Key. Versus personal training, it's like technique, movement. So how did you land at OTA? What's the story of like getting plugged in with us?
Well, as you said, Sarah Camp introduced us, and ever since I've been in Colorado, I've been training for a personal trainer out here 4 years before I landed at OTA. And that whole 4 years, I've been working at 2 different gyms. And I've always wanted to just be at one spot and have a good financial income at one spot. Yeah. And I think that whenever I first started at OTA after Sarah introduced us, started at part-time, and you're the first one that mentioned to me that like we could turn this into a full-time income. And I was like, oh, like I'm already love everything you're doing. This is just music to my ears. And I was like, I think this is like where I want to be for the long haul. So of course, that was one thing. But in addition to that, man, financials hasn't always been like my main motivator. I don't think it's become a little bit more of one over the last couple of years. Yeah.
That's fair.
But before that, like, I think that's, as long as I have what I need, I don't really care too much about that side of things. Yeah. It's like, I just want to be happy within my routine, have flexibility to do the things I love. I think that's where
most coaches are that way. I'm that way, man. Work-life balance, time to train, time to rest, time to meal prep, time with friends or family. Make enough to survive and save and, you know, build up a little bit. You know, some people get in this industry to try and make a ton of money, but nothing wrong with that. But I'd say overwhelmingly the majority of coaches are like you and I, and they're like, yo, if I could just support myself. I remember my first like full-time job was at a CrossFit gym. I was making $40,000 a year. I was coaching, I think 25 classes a week. Could do personal training on top of that. I don't know if I had PTO or not, but I had health insurance, which I never used. You know, it's like just like $400 a month. It was just like it's thrown at the bank. But
it's frustrating.
But I remember thinking that was like, I had it made, dude. I remember, you know, that was way before COVID. That was 20, when was that? 2014, 2015? A long time ago, 10 years ago. But yeah, man, you know, dude, I had a really kind of crazy journey to get to where we are. But part of the reason why the mission is to, I think the industry really, there's a lot of coaches. I don't know if it does dirty by design. I don't think they're trying to. I just think that nobody's really rethought the model, or at least nobody has really shared that they've rethought the model. And so how do you describe OTA to people who maybe don't know the gym or the brand or what we do?
It's kick ass.
Yeah, it is, dude.
No, man. I mean, it's individualized training. We do somewhat sports specific for Colorado athletics is what I tell people, like the rock climbing, mountain biking, racing, things like that, snowboarding, skiing. But outside of that, man, it's a fantastic culture, small group and or personal training, typically over the age of 30 or 35.
Yep.
But it's honestly, man, it's just a fantastic vibe. It's hard to put it into words. Yeah. I love it.
You're part of that, man.
Yeah.
You're part of that. Our culture is the sum total of, you know, the mission and the vision that I have for what we're doing, but also, you know, the personalities between me, Coach Shannon, Coach Landon, Coach Mo.
The culture
Coach
that you've
Faith,
created is
our interns.
amazing.
And the people who show up, man. No mirrors on the wall. That was by design.
Yeah. So we're not aesthetic driven by any means.
Nope.
We want people in for the long haul. We want people to make this, I tell people, like brushing their teeth. We want people to make this part of their life. Okay. So just building into their daily life so they'll increase their margin.
Yeah.
So I'd say that is what we want people to do is just, we don't want people to be in and out. We want people to learn how to build this moving forward and just continuously keep the training to help better their lives.
100%.
Yeah, mentally and physically.
That is a far shake from, I guess, what most of the industry sells. You know,
it's quick stuff.
Bodybuilding is kind of the roots of fitness. If you think about it, like, you know, there's the golden era, the 60s and 70s, led way to like the mass monsters of the 80s and 90s, led way to like the modern era in the 2000s. But that has really shaped the industry because that was the fitness industry for many, many, many years. And that's the only frame of reference people had. Well, I remember CrossFit came around in 2008, got real popular in 2011, got real popular in 2014, 2015.
Yeah.
And it was getting a barbell in the hands of everybody.
That documentary they released in like 2015 on Netflix of the CrossFit Games.
Yeah.
I actually loved that documentary.
It was amazing.
It was sweet.
It's crazy.
Those guys looked like beasts in that.
They're monsters. They are so fit. They're aerobically fit. And it was funny for me as just kind of an outsider, just like observing everything. I was a CSCS, so Certified Strength and Conditioning, and we had our own dogma of the way things should be done. And then, you know, bodybuilding has theirs. And then CrossFit just was like, screw all that. We're going to do what we want to do. And it was so like, there's the antithesis of anything that was in fitness. And that's kind of evolved now into, you know, kind of this hybrid type running, lifting, endurance thing. High rocks being one of them that's really popular right now. So really what I pull from that is that there's just so many different ways to like move and express and do it. However, within that, the population that has been kind of forgotten, the people that come to OTA, the people who are like normal folks who don't want to compete. They don't want to run races. Maybe they just want to enjoy time in the mountains or hiking or mountain biking. And they don't want to have to commit to 3, 4, 5, 6 sessions a week. They're not psychos like you and me who love being in the gym. I had a similar story, man. When I moved from Colorado to West Virginia when I was 13, I had no friends. I wasn't on any sports teams. I didn't know anybody. So I went to there's this little like recreational center in the apartment complex we lived in. They had a basketball court. They had free weights and machines. I just started shooting hoops and then messing around with machines. And then a classmate named Judd Waldo, his dad was a bodybuilder, and he taught me everything about bodybuilding, strength training back in the day. And I fell in love. The very first time I worked out, I was like, there's something amazing about that. And that was like my best friend for many years, being in the gym. And that was kind of the genesis. But so what was it about working with adults that pulled you in? Like, why not just like be a bodybuilding coach? Why do you're really good at what you do. You're fantastic. Part of the reason I'm so happy to have you is to begin sharing your knowledge. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious, man, like why?
Honestly, man, I like the results that we get from what we do more than the results from what bodybuilding does, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like one of the things I really like that I see in a lot of the clients that you give me, pull up their HQ file, and what most of them says in some way, shape, or form is they want to feel better. Yeah. They want their bodies to feel better and move better. And that is what I strive. That's what I love to train. I want people to move and feel better at the end of the day. And that's what makes me feel better at the end of the day. And what makes me feel like I'm doing something productive, at least. I feel like bodybuilding is more of a hobby, more so. Mm-hmm. If you want to compete, I can help you with that more so. But it's not like there's a lot of flaws with it, you know, like runs into mobility restrictions and your joints hurt. And like, there's a lot of negatives that come from it. So it's not my passion within coaching or teaching it. It's just for myself. That's why I love what we do is I just want people to be feeling better and moving better in their own bodies.
Yeah.
That's what I strive for.
I love that, man. Yeah. Yeah. My brain's going somewhere else. I just, I've been doing this a long time and I can tell when somebody's trained a certain way for a very long time. It's very evident in powerlifters and bodybuilders. Their elbows just like don't work. Yeah, their elbows basically just stop working, dude. It's like really crazy. They don't bend and flex anymore and rotate. And they got huge arms, but their function starts to suffer. When you just train tissues in that one domain.
100%.
So reflect on how you coached in your younger days, like early as a career, to like what you do now. What's the difference there? I want you to try to think of something specific that like.
Definitely a lot different. Like I said, I'd say when I first started off, before I like had CFSC, Michael Boyle, or that coach that helped show me the ropes, Jamaica, back in the day at Vasa, it was definitely more bodybuilding and even a little bit of powerlifting specific with even anyone I got, like whether they were ready for it or not. So I wasn't testing.
That's an important part.
Whether
they were ready for it or not.
Planes of motion. I wasn't testing mobility or stability. I wasn't seeing how their joints move in space without load. I was just kind of slapping right in, man. And I was like, kind of what I got out of like college and high school and things is like they don't teach you. Yeah, exactly. They don't really teach you. It's all textbook driven, as you know. So, man, that's why I really love what Regis does, and they get actually clients in front of them that help kind of actually see how it works rather than just all in textbooks.
Rob's talking about our internship partner, Regis University, the Health and Exercise Science program.
Yes.
Dr. Choice and the entire team over there is awesome. They send us just raw young talent, good personalities, really smart kids. And then they get to do an actual semester training people. And then Rob and I will go back and we'll be at the end of the semester roundtable to pick their programs apart and tell them what they did wrong.
It's fun to do.
And then give them a new perspective.
Yeah. But I'd say, it was kind of geared off more towards like the bodybuilding and powerlifting, just because that's what was being fed to me through like school and even over social media and everything I was seeing. But as soon as I got into like meeting Jamaica and taking the CFSC certification, I feel like ever since then I've kind of been more on the right route, or I've kind of known what I'm doing more so with each individual instead of thinking everyone needs to train one certain way.
Yeah. There's a time for those things, man. We call it peak expression. There's a time when you need to be, you know, peaking a deadlift or peaking a bench press or getting stupid lean. You know, there's definitely times for those things. Those aren't bad things, but I think they're misplaced. I think the coaches often lose sight of the bigger picture, and they just have a hammer, and so everything looks like a nail, versus having a hammer and a saw and a screwdriver and a measuring tape and a microscope and all these different tools. All they have is the tools that they have. And the state of education, I think, in the industry is like, there's so much information, but none of it is like applied knowledge. Like, how do I actually help a normal person get out of pain and increase capacity and increase range of motion so that they can go do the things that they really love, and then like build some strength on top of that.
I used to try to get people, I used to think that they weren't getting a significant workout if they weren't getting sore.
Totally.
That's something I learned that was wrong real quick. Like, actually, soreness is often, most of the time, I would say, or at least oftentimes, is an indicator of overtraining.
Yeah.
You can gain fantastic progress by never getting sore, actually, if you just train the right way.
Totally.
So that's another thing I think I did a little bit probably incorrectly.
It feels good, you know. There's like, man, there's like so many sayings that come out of that, like no pain, no gain.
Exactly. Yes.
And sweat is just weakness leaving the body. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Some of my favorite clients to train are like the 40-year-old dude who's that's been his entire identity. And then they kind of see a different way. And all of a sudden, like, you know, when we share that, hey man, you've built a really big base for yourself. Now we got to do some other shit. Like, this isn't the path for you to keep going.
100%.
You know, we'll talk about training age today and how that gets into it, and how the training really should evolve to meet where that person's nervous system is, where their body is, and all those things. But what do you think is maybe one of the bigger mistakes that you see people making, specifically adults, 35 and up, when they come into the gym, people maybe with a little bit of a background in fitness?
One of it is the soreness thing. I will say some people feel like they need to they have to be sore to make progress. But another thing too is a lot of people like act like the last 5, 10, 15 years didn't happen, where they haven't been training and they come right back in and pick right back up where they left off in like college athletics, or when they were in their 20s or something like that. So that's one, is like getting people to meet people where they are, but you got to kind of sometimes I know people that were lifting tons of weight like in their college days and early 20s, and they just have to learn that like things are different now that they've aged, and if they haven't been working on certain mobility or movement within certain joints, that like their limitations might be different. So that's just one thing that I see a lot of, is people will try to oftentimes pick right back up where they left off decades ago. And
dude, yeah, it's dangerous.
Yes, that's something that's
really dangerous. I feel like that's like a psyche identity thing. Like the brain's like, oh, I can still do this. And the body's like,
and I see it a lot in athletes too.
Dude, we haven't got off the couch in 4 years. Like, can't do that. I was actually just maybe 5 nights ago. What was happening? Hayes and Sam, my sons and I were watching a YouTube video. It was CU football preseason weightlifting, and there were some strong dudes. Oh, yeah. And Hayes asked, Dad, how much can you back squat? And so I pulled up an old video, and it was 455, and it was good. And I buried it. It was easy. And
what was that?
That was, bro. And here's where it landed. This is where I'm going with the story. It was 9 years ago.
Wow.
It was 9 years ago. That was 2000 and maybe not. It was 8 years ago.
Okay.
It's 8 years ago.
So after you finished rugby?
He was, yeah, it was after rugby. He was 2 years old. So it was only 7 years ago. But anyways, he's like, oh my gosh, you were real strong. And I was like, I was real strong. But anyways, I couldn't do that now. There's no way. I could build up to it, surely. Like totally. You know, I think that my strength will continue to grow for a few years. But I'm also at the point where I'm not willing to put in the work and the exposure necessary to eke out 1% more. That doesn't matter. I don't care that much. I just don't care. I'm plenty strong for the things I want to do. The recovery costs, the training costs, the joint stress, even with what we've learned about FRC and internal strength training, it's just not that important to me. To be that. I have that. It's cool. And I got a video and it's all good. And, you know, but also that was when I was my most inflexible. It was right before I started jiu-jitsu. And then I was terribly out of shape aerobically and stamina-wise, you know, and I was just eating a ton. I was big and strong and muscular, but I was not healthy. My labs were a mess. So I was not healthy, although I was really strong and really, really big. You now, how many clients do you think you've ran through at OTA?
At OTA?
Yeah. You're managing about 45 to 50 right now.
Yeah, I mean, over 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Well over, maybe.
Just describe our method, like from your perspective. Like before we dive in, I want people to understand like the depth of understanding that we have about people when they come in.
Well, a lot of it's psychological as well as physical. Like we like to really see where people are mentally as well as physically whenever they come in. So seeing where they are outside of the gym within like work, stress, of course, injury history and physical autonomy as well. But yeah, we have a really good process going, I think, right now within our assessment, your client intakes.
We're always revising.
Yes, but it's still doing.
We're
really
almost
well,
done.
yeah.
I promise. I promise. We're gonna land on someplace concrete soon.
It's solid though. It's solid. So we see how people move first off before we just go into weight training. We want to see if they.
What does that mean? Tell me what you mean.
So taking them through the movement assessment, seeing if they have any restrictions or limitations within joints, any sort of pain, whether that be closing angle pain. But a lot of people don't know what their mobility or their joint, how their joints even move, or the way that we want them to move. Yeah. So that's the first thing, is just getting people to figure out what they can work with and what they can access, and then modifying things from there on out based on each individual. Everyone's different. Anatomical figure, posture, injury history. There's so many things that can dictate why someone moves the way they do. So I think just the way that we check all these boxes and all these different steps that we go through to make sure we're doing the right thing to not get them injured, or to make sure that we're not doing any sort of cascade effect over time that's going to lead to injury. Yeah. I think we do a really good job at mitigating that and actually giving people what they need instead of what they want. Totally. Like you said, we're not here to entertain. We're here to get results.
Yeah, it's a hard one, especially early as a coach. You want to prove that you're good and your workouts are fun, but I used to be that way. I totally used to be that way. Until I finally realized I don't have to be that way. You're not paying me to be an entertainer. You're paying me to train you.
Yes.
And I feel like there's a right and a wrong way to do that. In all of the assessments you've done and in the ongoing consultations with your clients, what is one myth or mistake that you have to constantly dispel? Something where you're like,
carbs is bad is one of them.
Yeah, let's explore that.
The nutrition one, yeah. I mean, there's so many things, but I think it was like the paleo thing that came really big a couple of years back, or the keto gym. Keto. The carbs thing, man, that's still something that I hear. You
know what I find funny, dude? The same people who like ride that bandwagon that carbs are bad are also often the same ones like binge drinking on the weekend.
Yep.
It's just like,
it's
come
very
on, man.
true.
You couldn't have more dissonance of like where you're at and what you're saying, That's
definitely one of them. What else though, man? I would say that is actually a really big one that I run to a lot, especially during goal reviews, is whenever people tell me they're going to start diet. Or another one, people think still to lose weight, they'll be like, all right, they'd say they want to lose weight. I'll be like, all right. They're like, all right, I think I want to start doing more cardio in my program. I'm like, okay, I don't think that's necessarily going to do it. Like, I think building the muscle is going to help expedite the process a little bit more. Of course, cardio has its time and place, of course.
Let's explore that for a minute. That's technically exactly accurate. For an untrained person, adding more activity will help. They'll probably lose, I don't know, an additional 10, 15%. For a trained person, especially an endurance, like aerobically trained person who's very aerobically fit, more activity is not the answer. So how do you coach somebody through that? When they're like, yeah, I'm just going to do more. And you're like, okay, that's a good thing, but that's not the thing that's going to move the needle.
I will say one thing that helps a little bit, just a little bit of extra reassurance, is that in-body scale.
Yeah.
When people get on that in-body scale or any sort of like body fat percentage or muscle mass measurement scale, when you see their basal metabolic rate go up, their muscle mass is also going up. So they're burning more calories at rest when they have more muscle on their frame. When you do a lot of cardio, you don't really see the muscle go up a lot. If you do the strength training, I'll see it go up, and that's where I can kind of get people to buy in a little bit more, that like we're burning more calories at rest when you have more muscle.
If the answer isn't more cardio, or because this is so common, weight loss is 90% of consultations. There's weight losses there, somewhere in the top 3 to 10. What is the answer? If it's not,
you got to find that fine line. In addition to that, you got to find what the individual likes. If the individual doesn't like it, they're not going to do it. Yeah. So you got to meet people where they are. if people absolutely love cardio, you got to give them some cardio, or else they're gonna hate their lives just doing strength training all the time. So it's just like sprinkling in what they need, but also giving them what they want.
Mm-hmm.
The short answer would be, yeah, I'm going to give them some strength training, you bet, in some way, shape, or form. They're going to be lifting some stuff. But I'm going to trick their minds to make them think they're doing the cardio at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. EDT.
Yeah.
EDT sets.
Exactly. I do that with a lot of people too.
Full body circuits feel like cardio, feel a little bit like conditioning.
Yeah.
And then you get into like full on mat builds, you know, that's
that too.
conditioning. But even that's a whole different intention, because when we're training the mat progression, we're not just like, this is a relic of the bodybuilding world, by the way, is that cardio only exists to burn fat. For high level, I'd say professional bodybuilders, totally, because they're doing 60 to 90 minutes fasted in the morning, incline treadmill. They're also doing 60 to 90 minutes of strength training. They're also doing another 60 to 90 minutes of very easy cardio in a calorie deficit.
Yeah.
And they're also on all sorts of supporting hormones and peptides and everything. Chemically enhanced. But we can't take that and apply it to the normal individual who has work stress and bills and mortgages and kids and all the other stuff, and whose labs are all just an absolute mess. That to me has been maybe the biggest gross negligence of the fitness industry, is how much cardio has been misunderstood. It is an absolute miracle for health, longevity, aerobic health, mitochondrial health, inflammation, nervous system,
managing stress,
getting into your parasympathetic.
And that's
amazing. That's why we prescribe it.
Exactly.
That's why we prescribe it, not as a way to lose weight. Because then I used to be that way, dude. Anytime I noticed I was gaining weight, I just go do sprints, and then 2 weeks later it was kind of gone. I was like, I'm good, back to my crappy behaviors. I didn't have to learn. I didn't have a good supporting mechanism for what I was after. But so let's begin to shift into strength training a little bit. And how does somebody's training age and biological age influence program design for strength training? Love to explore this with you for just a little bit. So maybe first explain training age, and then explain obviously biological age, and then we'll kind of wrap on that for just a little bit.
Biological age would be like their margin to a degree, correct?
Biological age would just be their age.
Just their age.
Their age. Yeah, yeah. Their age. They're 40-year-old, 50-year-old, 60-year-olds, how old their body is.
Well, yes, teens and 20s is going to be, I'd say, a little bit more. They're not going to be as high on the injury category. I would say a little bit more resilient to things like that. Yeah. But in addition to that, I would say, like also based on certain individuals as they age, the mobility is going to be probably lacking a little bit more than younger people as well. Just kind of how you're.
Yeah. So really, the way that we think about training age, I learned this from James Fitzgerald from OPEX. There's 5 classifications: beginner, intermediate, advanced, master, grandmaster. What I learned in college in my CSCS was really only 3 training ages. Was like beginner, intermediate, advanced. And then I asked the question, well, what happens after advanced? Because you don't just live here forever, Mark Ripito, pretty similar. He just had 3. Starting strength is like beginner, intermediate, advanced, or novice. I don't know the exact words, but more or less, I asked the question of like, well, we don't just keep training like an advanced person in our 40s and 50s, do we? I hit that. I hit advanced maybe, 6 years ago when I was like trying to eke out these 1% gains. And I'm just like, man, this is not working. My joints hurt. My sleep's, excuse my language. It's my podcast. I guess I can say what I want. Anyways, in the CCP, James Fitzgerald like really blew it out of the water with like beginner, intermediate, advanced, master, grandmaster. So real quick classification, what we're talking about here is like what your nervous system has been exposed to in terms of load or sports or activities consistently. Beginner is 0 to 2 years, intermediate is 2 to 6, advanced is 6 to 12, master is 12 to 20, grandmaster is 20 plus years. And the irony is, the great awesome part is that beginners and grandmasters train the same. Intermediates and masters need to train the same. And advanced is their own category. That is peak expression. So I guess my question for you is, knowing that, how does that impact? Well, I guess let me ask a better question. Where do the majority of people fall who come into our doors?
I would say definitely towards the beginning.
Very much.
The 1 to 2 years of training age. And with those individuals, I'm going to be focusing more on slow and control the centrics, like the 3-second lower, 1 second pause, 1 second concentric, 1 second reset. So the 3-1-1-1, if you guys see that in your program, that's what that is.
Yeah.
Tempo prescriptions.
Yep.
So that's a big one I'm going to be focused on with beginners. Is probably not a lot of explosive work. That way they have good control and movement over their body before getting into more so some of the explosive works and the peak expression you were mentioning.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, most people would probably be in that 1 to 3 year kind of newbie, just like a little seed sprouting out.
You're
of the
probably
ground.
at the point now with a lot of your clients that people are moving into maybe that second stage.
I would say so, yeah, because I mean, I've been 4 years now, so a lot of them are. I would say I've even gotten maybe 1 or 2 coming in advance, like a Brandon Thompson's of the world, or like Colby Rosen's. Those people are they're beasts. So
had a few. Those are fun to train. Those people are really fun. Everybody's fun to train. I love training beginners only because it's repeatable. It's very efficient. It works. It's effective. It's safe.
They see progress.
They see progress really quick. So like internally, I know I'm not doing anything special, but externally, like you look like a magician when you're like people are just progressing every week.
Yeah.
When you just like do like true progressive overload and give them exercises that work for their body. It's amazing. Once they get in that loop, the progressive overload loop of like you do a program, you complete it, you go in the next week, you do a little heavier. Now you're in the loop. Now you're hooked. You know, that's the thing in the business that like really keeps people coming back because their body's feeling good, but also them getting stronger. So, well, let's get into the meat of the episode. This is really around strength training fundamentals for adults 35 and up. So, for you, what are the fundamentals that actually hold up long term? Meaning, like how you coach people, how you teach them, how you design. What are the fundamentals from your perspective?
Well, we train in patterns, so I try to make sure people get a push, a pull, some sort of core anti-rotation, anti-extension, squat or quad dominant movement, and then a bend or hinge pattern. Carries, cardio, other things thrown into play, but I try to make sure people cover all these bases.
So you're talking about organizing training based on patterns, not based on muscles.
Yes.
Why do you do it that way?
Because that is what is going to be better for people in the long term. I've learned we're not skipping steps, and also just training the individual muscle groups. That's going to lead to like sore and achy joints, probably having some sort of lack of mobility.
With the volume that would be required to progress that.
In addition to that,
isolation, right, is just going to really.
In addition to that, so it's looking at it as a total weekly volume, and to get the proper amount of sets that I want people to progress in totally weekly volume, we'd have to be training 5-6 days a week if we're doing certain muscle groups.
Nailed it.
If I spread it out, most of our individuals do 2 to 3 days a week. If I spread it out, do 2-3 full body days, or organize my splits a little bit differently instead of individual muscles, I can kind of hit that accumulated volume in a little bit better way, and also better on the person for recovering, and also just not as taxing on their central nervous system as well.
Right. There's also a lot more transferable to just real life, you know, for them to go and just have like generally strong hips, knees, low back. Some version of a squat is going to be really important for them. Now, if they're looking for maximal quad development, probably not pattern type of split, probably like a muscle isolated
but
training split. But again, the whole frame is a lot different. We're not training bodybuilders.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
We're training adults. Fundamentals, man. For me, it's especially as we age, I want to say it's like minimum effective volume, like doing just enough and no more. You know, I used to really get after it 4 days a week, upper, lower, really pushing the volume. And I just don't feel like I do that anymore. I just cannot recover the way that I used to be able to at the intensity that I was training at. And so really, at least for me, it's kind of shifted to not getting weaker versus like you trying to get stronger. And it's like amazing how little volume it takes.
I bet you feel
to
great.
knock. I feel awesome.
Yeah.
I'm able to, you know, ride my bike and run and pursue other things.
And you could still get stronger over time doing it that way too. It's not like you have to drill yourself into the ground. That took me years to figure that out, man, is to learn what volume I need to actually keep progressing and make this a long haul thing.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, who knows if I'm going to keep training like a bodybuilder forever. I still enjoy it now. I still incorporate other aspects of training into my routine, but I would say majority of it is still kind of like a bodybuilding-esque routine per se. And that's
You
just
have phases of powerlifting.
yeah, I do. I go through
remember,
phases. I think if my calories are high, I get more into it.
I
Yeah.
remember, dude, walking into the gym one day. I just met you. You just started working at OTA, so we did not have the relationship we have today. Do you know the story I'm about to share?
The Beethoven. Yeah. Yeah. Dude, that stuff calms me.
I walked into the gym and Rob's like ripping out 405 or 455 on deadlifts for reps. And it's like classical music, full blast. And we have a good sound system, so it was loud.
That was good.
I
Yeah.
heard it from outside when I parked in. I was like, I thought, damn, somebody left the music on. But I hear the building shaking. Boom, boom. And it's like violins and pianos. And I was like, I like paused for a second. I opened the door. I was like, what the fuck? All right. Cool, man.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Back when I used to get we used to get calls from Bruce. Like,
Oh, dude. Yeah. That was funny. We haven't got that in a while.
I
I think.
used to slam it, dude. I used to just like,
Well, you have to. If you're We don't want to do a controlled eccentric.
oh yeah. And then
on a
I started to bring that rug. I had a rug that was like a 8-foot rug by like a 4-foot rug. And there's a couple times I brought it,
I remember that.
rolled it out in the front parking lot, and we started deadlifting on that instead.
Dude, I remember one day we were missing like a 10-pound plate or a couple of twin or something. And you took it to your patio for your leg extensions.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I was like, dog, you got to bring that back.
I
we
need
need
this.
this.
Weight. Yeah.
We barely have enough.
I did have a
as it
leg
is.
extension.
I was
on
so
my porch.
confused. I was like, where is this thing? And Rob's like, oh, yeah, dude, I took that home. I was like, bro, you don't just go taking the plates, man. That was really funny. I was like, what a harmless thing. It was hilarious.
Stealing weights, yeah.
Totally, man, totally. Man, let's talk about in strength training, the value of a personalized approach, personalized program versus like a generalized template, like a group workout of the day or a PDF program that you download online. Talk to me about the value of individualization. What degree do you go to when you're looking at a client and designing a strength program for them?
Now, I might do this a little slightly incorrectly. I try to make it more individualistic as I get to know them, as they go along.
That's great.
When they first start off, it's going to be slightly individualistic based on what I see through the assessment and see how they move. But I kind of like to start everyone all kind of at the same starting spot. Like I like to start most people on goblet squats to make sure that they know how to brace their core and we're not overloading or anything. But there's different variations of the goblet squats, whether I throw a band around their knees or elevate their heels due to limited ankle dorsiflexion or squatting to a box to limit the range of motion to a degree. So there's different variations of how I start people based on what I see through the assessment. But as I get to know them, it'll become more individualistic based on what I feel like they need and what they want as well and what they're training for. Because a lot of people are training for little other things outside of the gym, or whether it be body composition or some of our clients do events and races and whatnot. But I try to make it as individualistic as I can. I would say after 3 to 6 months of training them. But I would say when it starts off, I want people to learn the cars. There's a certain bases I want people to cover before I make it really individualistic for that individual. Yeah. So, and of course, there's certain individuals that are lacking in certain joints. I'm going to be giving them pails and rails and things like that, isometric angular loading and things like that. But outside of that, I kind of want to get to know them before I really pour time into making.
You want to see if they're going to do your program.
Yes. Yeah. So that's kind of how I operate. I want people to check these marks and these bases, and it'll be slightly individualistic to start off. But as I get to know you more, that's when we're going to start getting into what I feel like you really need and want.
I think a lot of coaches, when they hear individualized, they try to reinvent the wheel with every client.
That can be, I'll tell you right now, that'll take so much time out of your day and become, it'll be hard to maintain that.
You can't maintain 50 clients.
It's hard, man. Yeah. I tried it I would say I did it till I got probably close to that 30 client mark. And I was like,
I know.
All right, I'm spending.
I've seen a method come out of the madness in the past couple of years. Personalization, like coaches will think that for them to personalize it, they have to go to the umpteenth degree of personalization. But really, personalization for us is like a couple layers. It's, okay, what are the reality of this person? What is their joint mobility generally? What's their training age? It's a big one. Training age really will dictate exercise selection, periodization, loading, types of contractions. Are they ready for plyos? Are they not ready for plyos? Are they ready for intensification? Are they not ready for intensification? So one big area is training age. Another one would be like injury history. What are the joints that like have some mileage?
Mm-hmm.
We have clients with hip replacements, knee replacements, shoulder replacements, a couple discectomies as well.
Yeah, full blown back reconstruction.
Back reconstruction, it's crazy. Yeah, totally. Personalization really is like looking at the person in front of you, knowing what you know, and essentially to me, I think of it as a process of elimination, of taking things off the table for that person. That might sound a little kind of wonky, but it's not forever. It's just initially, right? It's like if somebody does not have good ankle dorsiflexion and good knee flexion, it's like, well, we're probably not going to be doing full range of motion squats for a while till we address those things. And then it's like looking at, their function. What do they need out of their program? What's their true north? Is it just physical autonomy? Do they just want to like do life? Those are the best programs because they're so easy to write. What they need to do is show up twice a week consistently. And we got to give them a volume and intensity that they can recover from. You know what I'm saying? So like you used to do this in your early days of trying to deep dive, reinvent the wheel every single time. But man, there's stuff that works extremely well. And if you can begin to take things off the table and silo clients into an avatar or an archetype or a type of individual, definitely don't just copy and paste programs. Meet people where they are, give them the tempos they need, the exercise variations that are going to be right for their body. That's personalization. You know what I mean?
And that's something I think I did. Yeah, like you mentioned, I used to, I think, try to come up with a new hip, cool routine program every time I got a new program.
That's what I mean. Yeah, you don't need to do that.
Instead of, I think you might have mentioned to me once, like, just keep it simple and just give them what they need.
Yeah.
Like, don't, that's it.
that.
Yeah, like, that's what you got to do.
Yeah, that's it. You don't need to entertain them. You don't need to
Since I've been
them.
doing that, I mean, yeah, like, everyone's been seeing fantastic progress. And now, occasionally, I'll get someone that, like, wants something cool, and I'll have a guinea pig, and I'll try something out on them. But I don't try to do the whole program like that. It might be something, the remedial accessory work, but the meat and potatoes and the beginning of that program is always going to be what they need.
What are the ingredients in an OTA session? Like what would have to be true in one of your designs for me to sign off and be like, dude, A+. I'm putting you on the spot here.
Oh yeah, shoot. You've given me a couple shout outs a couple times.
You know the answer. You definitely do. I'm just curious to how you describe it. What would have to be true? What are the elements or ingredients of an OTA session, of a personalized, individualized program, where I would look you in the eyes and say, great job?
Not too much volume is one.
Not
going well over 75 minutes, so probably not.
Sets. You're capping your total sets.
Probably 18 to 20 sets total.
Yeah.
So that's one. But one is just whether they have some sort of mobility or something they need to address at the beginning.
Yep.
Whether that be cars, pails, rails, something like that. And then the meat and potatoes, whether that be a heavy push or a squat movement. And then after that, I would say follow up with the remedial work to help accommodate the meat and potatoes, and then some fluff stuff. I call it the accessory work at the very end, and then maybe some map work to finish. Yeah, something along the lines of that.
A+, bro.
Sweet.
A+, right? And that to me is the model for how to train this population. It's like we're not doing push pull legs, we're not doing upper lower. What am I trying to say here? Isolated body part 5 days a week. If somebody has 2 days a week, 60 minutes. Well, we for sure are going full body. If you have 3 days a week, we can then get into upper lower. But then the elements of that isn't just all 100% strength training, right? It's like we're not trying to train power lifters. We're trying to just make people really healthy and functional. What that looks like, based on the health span hierarchy, is like aerobic capacity, movement potential through improved movement quality and joint articular health, and strength balance, the ability to absorb and produce force through all the patterns and all the planes of motion. And then you get creative with lateralization and single leg, single arm, frontal plane movement patterns. But honestly, dude, it's like the templates that I've offered to you guys in terms of like full body A, full body B, full body C, full body D, it's just a really good mental model to use as a starting point to then dive in and figure out, okay, what are the squat versions is going to be right for this person? What are we going to work on for upper body pushing, vertical pushing, instead of a barbell press because their shoulders just don't go there? How are we going to address that, right? You do not need to reinvent the wheel every time. And I love that you mentioned the sets.
Yeah. I used to make so much volume. Yeah. Because, and that's something that it's been pretty shocking to me over the last
Doesn't take a lot
since I've been training.
Doesn't
it's
take a lot.
How much progress people can see if you dose them properly.
Yeah.
And just training 2 to 3 days a week is
It's
all
amazing.
you need. You don't need to train 5-6 days a week.
No.
95% of the people don't.
Yeah.
At least.
100%. I agree.
Yeah. So that's one thing that is really.
I have 2 clients who train more than 3 days a week.
Yeah.
One of them trains 6.
And they probably just love it. They probably just love being in there.
He loves aerobic work and he loves strength training. And he's advanced, and I give him an alternating A-B workout. Full body A, full body B, and then full body C, full body D, and then the next cycle E, F, and then G, H, and we just keep going. And I keep trying to iterate and make it different. And then we just do like aerobic work on the other days for a 6-day week training split. But I would assume 95% of our members, that's extreme, 85% are twice a week. Full body resistance, mobility plus aerobic work.
And they all feel great.
And they feel great.
Yeah.
And that I'm telling you is the ticket. That was a hard won lesson from like my designs in year 1 of OTA. We're all about entertaining people and just like making them happy because I didn't have any money and I needed people to pay. And I wanted to be part of it. So my motivations were a little bit different. But now that we're really stable and strong, that's not a factor at this point. Yeah, and then through my own journey, like, I saw that we had a handful of our older clients, not high training age, but high biological age, whose joints were going backwards with traditional sagittal plane strength training.
Mm-hmm.
My mother-in-law being one of them.
Yep.
This led me down the FRC path, which led to learning about joint cars, which led to pails and rails, which led to like understanding connective tissue and the nervous system and why we do all this.
Mm-hmm.
We'll have to do an episode on cars and pails and rails and go real deep.
FRC, yes.
I'd love to just share that episode.
It's some good stuff.
It warms my heart. I mean, truly, when I walk into the gym and I see people doing cars and new members like learning pails and rails.
And all the good feedback we're getting from it too.
Oh, overwhelming.
Yeah,
I mean, it's kind of
awesome.
boring, but like you're not here to be entertained. So cool. It's not our job to entertain you. Our job is to train you and make your joints feel really good. So, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. Do you have anything to add?
I think the cars has been kind of game changing for our gym in general. I think it's helped a lot of people get through a lot of deficiencies within joints and just how they're feeling throughout their day. Just doing morning cars is huge.
Yep. Dr. Andre Spina, if you want to learn about it, he's the OG. Yeah. He's the one who synthesized all the knowledge into a cohesive set of understanding. Mm-hmm. And even then the FRC cert was like a fire hose.
It is. It's a lot of information.
So hard to then interpret and implement the technology.
Very.
And I feel like we've got a pretty good grip on like what it is and how to do it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's easy to get lost in all that too, and I've had some good mentors in there. What do you wish every adult who's on the fence about strength training could know about strength training? Have you ever had somebody who's like, doesn't want to? We don't really get people at OTA who like don't want to do.
I'd say you filter a lot of them out. Yeah. So before OTA, I probably got more that I kind of had to like try to get on the right side of the fence. But you do a really good job at kind of filtering that out or getting people to buy into it. I mean, yeah, man, it's like a lot of people have that misconception that it's like still like how it used to be in like the 80s and 90s. It's like just for, I mean, I think it's starting to change where like more females are starting to get in gyms. It used to be more. Like a lot.
Oh, dude, massively.
Yeah. So that's
the majority of our clients.
Yeah. So that's starting to change. But I think that's one thing that OTA just does such a good job about, man, is a lot of people go to other gyms and they have such bad or negative experiences, whether it's just like, they see a lot of dudes like grunting with their shirts off, or it's dirty, or they just don't get
coaches don't coach.
Yeah, they just don't get good feedback from the faculty. So I think that's just something that we do a really good job at, making everyone feel really comfortable and meeting them where they are. And like you said, just creating the culture that you have created, and we don't have any like what I like to say turds in the punch bowl. We don't
allow them in the door.
Yeah, we don't.
I don't allow.
We don't have any time. We don't have time for that. So. That's just one thing that I really love about OTA that I feel like that we've kind of filtered out,
Yeah, by design, man. That's like, I wanted to like not filter, but just like know who I could help and who I couldn't help. And again, dude, the first 2 or 3 years, I really was unsure. Kind of said yes to everybody, and then we figured it out. But eventually, I just saw like these pattern recognition. 40-year-old adult, messed up joints, low recovery margin, poor sleep. needs strength training, needs aerobic work. I was like, I know exactly how to help this person. And now that's turned into a system or a method that just works extremely well when people show up.
Yep.
You say the culture I build, I set the vision, man. I set the mission, and I've trained and developed you guys, but you guys are leading the culture, dude. You guys are, you and Shannon and Landon and Mo and Faith and the whole team, Tia, you know, shout out to Larry, who's helping out with media, and Chase behind the scenes over here doing podcast producer extraordinaire. It's been really cool. And so,
but at the same time, I want to say that I don't know if anyone else out there does what you do when it comes to telling people no.
yeah. What do you mean?
You will literally direct people. Like, I'll hear you in the office, like, "Hey, man, I hear everything you're saying. I don't know if we're going to be a great fit for you, but let me recommend you to this other gym."
Yeah.
If you don't hear like exactly what you think will help kind of go towards our culture.
Totally.
Yeah.
I think it's our culture, but also our method. Like, people come
Exactly.
in and they're just not mentally ready for what we do because they think it's something else. They think it's high intensity group fitness. I'm like, oh yeah, we don't do that. But our neighbor, the yard, does it better than anybody. Go meet Zoe. I'll give you her phone number.
Yep.
Like, oh, I'm looking for a place that does like labs and peptides. I'm like, oh, go to Arsenal. Talk to my friend Jake and his team. They'll take great care of you.
And I don't know many people that would do that. Most people are going to try to reel in as many things as they can catch
Totally.
instead of like actually bringing in what is going to be best for our gym in the long run.
Dude, it's the long game. That is an
Exactly.
example of the long game. I truly feel like when it fits really well, and people stick around because it's for them. And when it doesn't fit, it ends quickly, and it often ends not negatively, but like they're like, these trainers suck. You know, we're very different. We're so different. And I know in my heart who we help. I've done it enough times now. In those first conversations, I can tell within the first 30 seconds of a conversation. Did you meet, oh man, I'm trying to blank on his name. The Regis intern who came by. I'm not going to say his name on the podcast, but
Italian.
yes.
Yes.
Great.
Yes.
Amazing young man.
Yeah, like he was wearing a NBA Cavs hat. So, I noticed.
He came in to learn about like coaching and OTA and all this. And I had a intro call with a new client, prospective client. Within the first 20 seconds, I'm on speakerphone. I looked down and was like, dude, she's not a fit. I'm going to have to turn her away. The next 25 minutes, I tried to convince her that we're not the gym for her. You need to go somewhere else. And he said the same thing. He's like, why did you do that? I was like, I can't help her. I'm not going to help this lady. She's not a good fit.
No one else
we
does
do.
that. Yeah.
The people who are the best fit are at a place where they want to take their health serious. They're done with like the way that they've used to do it. They're looking for support. They value an expert. They want their body to feel awesome. That's their true north. They care about their health and their health span and their longevity more so than they care about a trendy workout or high intensity or any of entertainment. They're just like, I want to plug in and work on myself in a really safe, awesome way. And then, dude, they get into strength training. They get some of the best coaches in the industry coaching them, and one of the best cultures in the industry, selfishly, and it just works. It just works, and it's amazing. So, in the early days, it wasn't that way. I said yes to everybody. And then also, here's the other thing: business operationally, when there's like 16 advanced clients, and you know, I've got, I don't know, somebody training for a triathlon on my roster and all this. I was like, dude, I can't manage 50 of these programs. I forgot where I was with this person. When we're all training a very similar archetype or very similar person, it becomes really efficient to be like, oh, I know exactly where we're going with this group. And then there's seasons of like specialization.
That's true. And that's something I didn't even kind of realize necessarily until you said this to
Dude,
me.
it's the same person.
Yes.
For the most part. Like there's obviously individualization. It's a huge part of what we do. But overwhelmingly, the archetype and the type of person who comes to OTA does so well in the method and the ingredients of the workouts that I described to you. It's designed for them. I literally have refined it over many years into that person.
And I can't remember the last client that you brought in that didn't really fit with what we were doing. Like, you do such a good job at like funneling it out what we need or what they need from them. Yeah.
Yeah, I refer. It's funny because like, you know, other gyms in the area will like thank me. Be like, dude, thanks for referral, man. What are you thinking? I was like, and nobody ever sends me people, but it's okay. We don't need it, dude. We have been so blessed. Our gym is stable. We are so strong. We have such a good base of humans in there. And we're also at a point also, you know, financially where I'm like, this doesn't change my life, whether you say yes or no. So I don't care. I'm going to tell you what's going to be best for you. And we just signed up a guy yesterday, dude. Perfect fit. Perfect fit. I could tell within the first 5 minutes. It's awesome. Personal training, 2 days a week, exactly aligned.
Nice.
And it just feels good when that hits. Because then, dude, for you as a coach, your onboarding, your program design, your progressions, your consultations, you know exactly how to handle this client. Versus, dude, what if I threw you a 20-year-old Olympic weightlifter who's training for high rocks right now? Oh, yeah. You got to go down the weeds. You're going to have to learn. And that's a good place to be. Don't get me wrong.
4 clients in one. Yeah.
Exactly.
It'd be a lot of work.
Yeah. It's very inefficient. Right. And so for us to deliver really high service to the avatar, the person that I feel most compelled, my heart really wants to help this population, the people in the industry is just kind of like forgotten about. A, it's a humongous opportunity. But B, we're the only ones doing it really well. Not the only ones. I can name a couple gyms in the area, VM Fitness specifically, who does a really, really phenomenal job. Ethos as well. They do a really phenomenal job in the same kind of demographic. But yeah, man, thanks for noticing that. We need to grow by probably +4 a month for us to like be good. And I probably turn away 3 to 4. And then a couple just not a good fit financially, and a couple are a great fit, and they last and they stick around. So
most of them do. It just works. Of them do.
It just works, and that's credit to you guys, man. Credit to you. Credit to Shannon. I am in the best, most enjoyable phase of my life because my kids are like, Dad is like the coolest guy ever. I'm like the
football coach, yeah.
You know, I'm
winning
like
championships.
We won the youth, the Apex 9U, 10U flag football championship, which was so cool. But
awesome.
It was awesome, dude. I'm falling in love with football again. But dude, all of this is because you guys are like just killing it. You guys are absolutely crushing it, man. And
you've given us the platform to do so.
Yeah. Just own it, man, and roll. Well, let's bring this thing home, man. The core idea is that fitness and strength training is for everybody. Fitness industry is kind of forgot about, like normal folks who have like full-time jobs and careers, and there's levels of individualization. You don't need individualization to have a great program, but it does. If you're new to this stuff and you want to learn about it, come to OTA, train with us online, work with Coach Rob, work with me, work with Shannon, Landon, Mo, any one of the OTA coaches. Fundamentals, man. Give them to me one more time. What would you say is like the takeaway for people with how they should think about strength training? And I want you to pretend imagine you're talking to our members, talking to your clients right now.
Fundamentals.
What do you want to tell them? You've got all of your 50 clients right now listening to you. Tell them what you want to tell them.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, I tell people like always in this order, right? So focus on mobility first.
Yeah.
We want to make sure that you can move through a proper range of motion.
Joint prerequisites.
Yes.
Good, man.
Then stability.
Yep.
Next. So make sure you
motor control.
Yes. Make sure you have the proper balance with your own load before we actually add more load. So mobility, stability, then movement. I want to make sure you can move. You can show proper mobility, stability combined with your own movement first, body weight stuff. Then we add strength once you have those other prerequisites met.
Yep.
So that's kind of how I look at things. Mobility, stability, movement, then strength.
Yep. I love that. I'll simplify that and just say, as a team, we're working to develop margin, and that is part of margin. Lifestyle margin, recovery margin. We want your joints to work really well so that when you're 70, 80, or 90, they work really well.
Yes.
You still have the range that you have now at 40, 50, or 60. Because if you don't use it, you will lose it. And it's harder to get back once you lose it. 100%. But you can get it back. But you're probably not going to be patient enough to do the work that it's going to take. So this is the long game where we are really focused on health span, longevity, teaching people about health and fitness from a different angle than high intensity or optimization or performance first. This is really about enjoyment, physical autonomy, longevity. Can't wait to have you back on, bro.
Oh, yeah, man. Thank you. Appreciate you.